Throughout the pandemic, we've heard from so many of you who have had trouble getting unemployment benefits after being laid off.
Yeah, but here's a new one. A Franklin woman tells News Channel 5 investigates that the state keeps telling her she's approved for benefits even though she's never applied and still has a job. Consumer investigative reporter Jennifer Krause sat down with the state labor commissioner and learned this is all part of a much bigger problem. Jennifer, good morning to you. What's going on?
Well, it is fraud, and it's going on around the country. But here in Tennessee, the state seems to be having somewhat of a problem getting a handle on it. In fact, last year, the state paid out millions and millions of dollars, we found, in fraudulent claims. Helen Stem has been a bookkeeper at this Franklin CPA office for 19 years. And both she and her boss were stunned last summer when he got this notice stating that she had applied for unemployment.
And he immediately handed it to me, said, "What's going on?"
She had no idea and says she's spent the last 7 months trying to convince the state labor department that someone else is using her name and personal information to collect benefits.
You call half a dozen times trying to tell them that there is apparent fraud going on, and it doesn't sound like you're getting a really strong response.
Well, there's even a site on the Tennessee Department of Labor, a fraud line to report fraud. I even sent an email to that.
And yet still, her boss got word in February that Helen has been approved for unemployment benefits. He fired off this letter asking, "I do not understand how this could be continuing. How many times do we have to notify you that you're being used by someone other than Helen Stem?"
Is that the way it's supposed to work?
Obviously not.
Jeff McCord is the commissioner of Tennessee's Department of Labor and Workforce Development, which runs the state's unemployment program. McCord says they've had more than 1.2 million new claims since the pandemic started. They've added 600 new staffers and automation, but when the federal government boosted unemployment benefits, suddenly crooks had added incentive to steal this money, and unemployment offices across the country began seeing more and more fraud. In 2020, according to the Tennessee Labor Department, there were more than 2,800 cases of fraud, resulting in more than $6 million in fraudulent payments.
So do you think you're doing a good job? Do you think you're doing enough to stop this?
I do. Our effort is amazing, and we're up against a very large effort too. And so, yes, I would say we are holding our own on the fraud.
So what is the Labor Department doing to stop this fraud? And what are the chances of recovering any of that $6 million in taxpayer money that was paid out in fraudulent claims? We will take a look at that and hear more from the Labor Commissioner coming up tonight at 6. Ben?